wedding going?
Sucks. That's, we don't have a date.
You can't even get a date, can
No.
you? That's probably the hardest part. Because you can't get a date, so you can't do any plans and firm. So it's all just, well, we could do this or we could do that, and they can't really do anything.
And it's also a matter of like, we want a backyard wedding, but we don't know if our wedding's going to be in the summer where we can do that, or if it's going to be in the winter where there's no possible way of doing that in Utah.
Oh, you could. It would just suck balls.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop a present off and be like, peace, guys.
Yeah. Like most people do.
Yeah.
Stay for like 15 minutes, most people.
I wouldn't even stay for 15 minutes.
At a wedding?
Not yours in the winter outside.
Fair enough.
Have you guys thought about doing...
I'd make you like a best man or something just to be a dick.
I would still just show up and be like, peace out, guys.
Probably not going to have any groomsmen or bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing a traditional marriage. Like, you're going to get married by the state, right?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because of legal crap.
I'm making sure that every declaration of God is left out of the...
I was looking into doing a free union ceremony for our 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with free union ceremonies?
Mm.
It was really popular back with the early anarchists. It was basically saying, it was people committing to one another without the idea of the state.
Mm.
And, they also did, gay marriages and things like that. Mm-hmm. But it was just a way of them foregoing the state completely.
Yeah.
Like them saying, the state, fuck you, state, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started looking into it to see, like, if there's, like, specific way to do it and everything else. And then I found out that nowadays a free union is mainly used by polyamorous people to show that they can have multiple lovers.
Yeah.
Which I'm not polyamorous, so I don't think we'll be doing that.
I don't see a problem with polyamory. I'm just a jealous motherfucker, so
I don't have a problem with what consenting adults want to do at all.
Yeah,
I'm just not.
I'll take it to the extent if obviously take out like the fucked up aspects of certain things like polygamy and stuff where you will see like underage marriage and stuff in certain religious sects. I don't care if consenting adults want to have 5 wives or 5 husbands. I don't give a fuck.
It's not my business.
I don't care if a brother and sister want to get married. I think there should be like
to me like a marriage. All a marriage really is a declaration of devotion towards that relationship. Mm-hmm. The state should have fucking nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
which means that if you want to devote yourself to 5 people, who the fuck am I to say no to that? Let alone if it's 5 women or men or transgender or other kin or whatever.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. And as far as like, I don't know, the only thing that like where I get kind of conflicted is like, I'll say that I don't give a shit if like 2 consenting siblings want to be in a relationship, but then it's like, I don't think you should reproduce. But I don't think a lot of people should reproduce.
Yeah, to get really controversial on this, in all reality, the genetic makeup of most individuals, even siblings, is far enough apart now that you wouldn't have problems with
the first thing.
Yeah,
but there's a point where the genetic makeup.
No, I'm not saying we should do this by any stretch of imagination. God knows. My sisters are not pretty. It's true. Sorry.
Christy's cute.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one, but that's okay. That's okay. That's my little sister, by the way, that he's talking about. That people think we're twins. Which I never got. I never understood that.
She's not my type.
She's not my type either.
My sister is. Fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I know. Fuck that, right?
Yeah.
So what have you guys actually come to the conclusion of for your wedding? Who's going to do the master of ceremony, the whatever you call it? Have you decided that yet?
Mm-hmm.
You going to do justice of the peace?
I don't know.
A judge?
I don't know.
Judge will keep God out of it.
Will he?
Oh, yeah. They're probably the most likely to keep God out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided.
You should see if you get married in the Unitarian Church.
I don't think Mari wants to get married in a church.
It's the Unitarian church.
I know, but it's still a church. I don't think it matters if it's a chapel or not. Like, the place that we're going to doesn't even have a chapel.
Is it that garden place?
Yeah.
Next to the cemetery?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we have to do it at a place, that's where we do it.
Have you got pricing for that yet?
No.
I'd be worried about that.
There's 2 different ones. There's an indoor one,
Uh-huh.
and that's smaller, and that's the one that we like.
I haven't seen it. I've been to weddings there.
I have to go and look. I don't know.
But all the weddings I've been to weren't the actual weddings. They were just the party afterwards. And it was gorgeous. What I really liked about it is that it pretty much just forced people to walk through like this beautiful botanical garden. And all of a sudden you meet like the groom and everything. They're kind of just like off to the side. But there's so many people. It's like a walkway. So it forces you to walk by them. And all of a sudden you're outside again. You're like, oh, I guess I leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Especially
for a reception.
Totally. It's awesome for that setting.
But yeah, I don't know. Like,
have you told your parents how much liquor you're going to have at your wedding?
No. We haven't even decided on it. Mari said she doesn't want to offend anybody. And I said, I don't really give a fuck. It's fun to offend people. And like, I don't care if there's liquor at the wedding. I mean, if that's what her parents want, because her parents are familiar with that.
Yeah.
She comes from a culture where that's just what
it is.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure she's gonna want a drink or two by the end of the night.
I don't know. She's, but like, it's not a big deal, really. Like, her parents would obviously be fine if there wasn't.
Yeah.
And she would be fine if there wasn't. I think everyone would be fine if there wasn't, but at the same time, it's like funny.
It's fuck you if you're not okay.
Yeah.
At the same, yeah, I get it.
So, and I've always been the dickhead.
Your parents were very aggressive with when me and Kelly got married about having a vegan wedding.
Yeah.
They were very like, no, we're gonna have what we want. We're like, no, fuck you. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
It's funny how I'm way more aggressive than Callie is, though.
It wasn't Callie, it was me.
Yeah.
But like, they weren't talking to me directly, so it was like all through Callie.
Uh-huh.
Like, I got to the point where they're like, if we're gonna pay for food, we're gonna pick the food. And I said, fuck you. I'll pay for the food myself. And they're like, well, no, we want to pay for the food. Then it's gonna be vegan. Like, just that's it. You know.
For me, there's no God, all vegan, and if we decide on liquor, then there'll be liquor. Like,
yeah,
we
asked for no God, we didn't get no God.
We'll get no God, but you also used a bishop.
We used
so we're not gonna do that.
A religious official. Yeah.
See, so but it's really hard to play.
And that was, I mean, just to be fair, when people hear that was at a time when both me and her were more agnostic than atheist. You know, I mean, you know that. And you were a hardcore believer at that time, so...
Yeah, I was.
You know, I mean, I wasn't on to the path where I am now, so...
I was a hardcore believer, but I was always one that was questioning things.
No, you were.
Uh-huh.
Like, but, I think you felt just like how most people want to feel. They just want to believe.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally.
But then again, I wasn't stupid enough to just have blind faith. I would ask questions constantly that could not be answered, which was in part why I lost my faith. Just studying and studying and studying.
So, I don't think we're going to get our Kickstarter goal.
I doubt it too. We still have a couple days when this releases, so if someone wants to be super sweet and just like...
Seriously, you can put down $1,000 and nothing would happen. It would just look a lot better for us.
You could pull it out too.
Totally. Like,
but then again, like, if that happens and then it gets over and you pulling out would prevent us from getting our goal,
can't pull out.
Then you can't pull out. And
but seriously,
suck for you.
If you're like, I want a hoodie, go put up for the hoodie level. Yeah. Just because, hey, on the 2% chance that we get funded, hey, you'll get a fucking hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some coffee mugs. A whole bunch of people got coffee mugs. That still wouldn't add up very quick, but I guess it would.
Serious. You know what? If we hit our funding goal, right, from this point, from where we're at right now, I would contact everyone who funded us and say, what the fuck do you want? And I'd get them almost anything.
Yeah, totally.
Like, hey, you got the t-shirt level and you want a hoodie? Well, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Because we'll do cutbacks because we appreciate you.
But on a flip note,
honestly, we just need the microphones now.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll fucking cut. Like, a lot of that's going towards shit too. Getting you stuff.
Yeah, most like a little like the actual amount of money we need to get completely set up into a real studio is about $1,300.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of that difference is to make sure we had enough money to ship and produce the rewards.
Yeah,
you know, but just new microphones, which would be a light step ahead, would be about 3 to 5, depending on the setup that you get.
And that would be cutting back everything else.
That'd be cutting back everything else.
Even our fun, like our hosting fees. Like, we don't even have a website.
No. Yeah, hosting fees are expensive. Like, it adds up.
20 or more a month.
Yeah, just for
the podcast.
Just for the podcast.
And that's not having a website. That's just...
No, that's just to have a place where you can download it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's expensive, but we do it.
Yeah. So I was thinking we should start hosting party nights. Do a party night once a month.
What do you mean by that?
Like, obviously it's only for people locally. Maybe we could figure out something else later. But actually set it up and like have, a party night where it's like a poker night 1 month. You know, and have, a $10, $15, or $20 buy-in, and actually have a poker tournament, and the winner would get money and everything else, but then we would help keep the rest.
Is that legal?
Yeah, it's completely legal.
Okay.
Because you're not actually gambling. You're paying, what you're doing is you're paying for an entry fee or a suggested donation, you know, how you word all that bullshit, to come to a party, That's all it really is.
Utah's got really weird.
It has really weird rules, but they do it all the time for fundraisers for companies, and
they don't even allow like bingo and stuff, right?
You can. There's just lots of really weird ways of doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
but maybe instead of like the winner, instead of getting money, they could get, T-shirts or some
if
chocolate.
We even had any. We don't
or
have
something,
Yeah, totally.
But like honestly, you do like a $20 buy-in on a poker tournament. Even if you only had 10 people show up, in 2 months we would have what we needed.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Totally. Sweet.
I think we could get 10 vegan anarchists together, or 10 anarchists, or 10 vegans, or 10 just people who like to play Magic. We get a fucking Magic tournament.
Yeah, we could.
We get together and play like Killer Bunnies, because Killer Bunnies is fucking awesome.
Fucking way fun.
And just have it be like a why are you looking through like this naked men calendar?
Because I'm trying to find a date.
I'll turn around, look at you, you're like, oh yeah, men of Hawaii.
Men of the Hawaii Islands.
Men of the Hawaii Islands.
Yes.
That is awesome. He does not look Hawaiian. I mean, he looks tan, but he does not look Hawaiian.
He's hot, though.
So why can you get a nude women's Hawaiian calendar, but not a nude men's? I'm sure they have it, but not from this company. But I want a nude men's Hawaiian calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of nude men, I saw Joey's penis today.
I saw his dong, too. I was going through my timeline, and I'm like, oh, there's Joey's dick.
We were at the grocery store, and Callie like, you want to see Joey's dick? I'm like, why?
And sorry, Joe, if you're listening. I love you.
I saw your dick.
I saw your dick.
Yeah, obviously you're not ashamed of your dick.
I didn't seek out your dick, but I saw it.
I gotta tell you, though, I am 10 times more impressed with his fucking legs than his dick. Fuck you for your legs. Make me jealous of your legs.
He's got... You're a fit man, Joe.
Yeah, very fit.
You're a very fit man.
But I'm jealous of your legs. Sorry, but not your dog. Yeah, it's the way it is. Yeah. I don't even know if Joey listens. I don't know if anyone knows who we're talking about.
Probably not.
How can you look up Joey's dick? He posted it online. I mean, come on. Everyone should see Joey's dick.
I'm not going to do that.
Did he post it on Instagram?
Tumblr.
Is his Tumblr private or...
I don't know.
I don't know either. Look up Joey in Austin, Texas. He's also... Is it for the sexiest vegan contest?
I think so.
Why would you post nude photos in the sexiest vegan contest? Or do you have to?
Maybe you have to. I don't know.
I've never seen the nude girls.
PETA really likes naked things.
They do like naked things. That was the first issue I ever had with PETA. Was back in the day when they did their fur trim ad. Do you remember their fur trim ad?
Yeah, that was fucked up.
God, if anyone doesn't remember it, it was like the weirdest fucked up ad that I've ever seen. I shouldn't say that I've ever seen, but it was a picture of a female bikini line, and they're just wearing some panties, and there's massive fucking bush coming out of all the sides, and all it said was fur trim unattractive. Like, I get the humor in it, but come on, women, like, let a woman be a woman. Like, why should you have to dictate?
Yeah,
it's just like you shouldn't cross. Like, just never sat right with me. It always upset me.
That was a dumb one.
Yeah.
Speaking of animal organizations like PETA, our poll this week was favorite animal organization.
So before we list any of these numbers, what's your favorite animal organization?
That's hard. That's way hard.
I
like Sea Shepherd a lot, and
I go back and forth with Sea Shepherd.
Like, Blackfish is pretty cool. We're like an offshoot of Sea Shepherd, kind of. I don't think that that's really in their history, but that's the facts. And because they thought that Sea Shepherd wasn't being aggressive enough,
which I've had those same sentiments.
Which is funny because and Greenpeace isn't even on there. That's hilarious.
Well, I wouldn't call them that anyway.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem that I've had with Sea Shepherds, a lot of people don't realize, for the longest time, they didn't keep their boats vegan.
Yeah, but Paul Watson is now vegan. Well, Paul Watson's not technically their president or captain anymore either.
But for the longest time, and people who were vegan had a really hard time on the boats because they would actually fish while they were out there to help.
Was that Sea Shepherd or was that Greenpeace?
No, that was Sea Shepherds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
don't want to name names, but I've talked to people who were on the cruise who actually were asked to leave because of their hardcore stance of no, we're going to be vegan.
I think it's reversed now. I think
it has changed because I've heard Paul even talk about it. It took him to realize what made Paul change to being completely vegan was not land animals, was that sea animals were being used to feed land animals.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm not going to judge
whatever,
why.
Yeah,
whatever.
As long as
whatever makes you go that way, it's awesome. But I heard an interview about
I don't know. I think probably at this point he's probably seen some sort of correlation. You'd hope.
You'd hope.
But anyway, I think it's funny that Greenpeace, was there, and then Paul Watson separated from that, and I think people separated from Paul Watson's group because
and Greenpeace was way more militant back in the day than they are now.
And it's kind of funny. I think once an organization expands to
but PETA was the same way.
Yeah, PETA was the exact same way.
PETA was the exact same way.
They used to be a press office.
Yeah.
And so, I think once it expands to a point where general public is more open towards it.
Yeah.
I don't really know if it's a bad thing for them.
No, I don't either.
I think it's okay.
I think one of the best things for animal rights is the show that Sea Shepherds has, Whale Wars. Because it puts hardcore activists that if they were doing the exact same things on land would be terrorists locked up in, what do they call those?
CMUs?
CMUs, thank you. The controlled management detention centers.
Units.
Yeah. Where you don't get to talk to people except once a month. They were specifically designed just for terrorists, and now they're using for what they call domestic terrorists.
And they apparently don't exist.
Oh yeah, apparently they don't exist at all.
So you don't talk about them.
Yeah,
or they'll violate your parole.
But literally, those for doing the exact same thing they're doing on the show, if they were doing that on land in the United States, that's what would happen to them, without a doubt.
I would argue that they're still trying to. Like Paul Watson, he had to step down, and they moved the organization over to Australia now, as opposed to being
US based.
It's now on an Australian nonprofit because they were trying to control the assets and also the organization and just shut it all down with US laws.
Yeah,
because of their terrorism.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But I love the show that shows because it shows what activists are really doing and how they're really fighting selflessly for these animals.
It's not. Yeah.
And so I think it's a great thing, because it puts out there to actual so-called animal lovers who fucking kill animals. I've never understood that. That you can be an animal lover and take these hardcore stances, and it's okay. Like it's completely okay and normal. Like I'm surprised it took this long to have an entire channel that's dedicated to animals actually have a show dedicated to really saving animals,
as opposed to was it like Big Sea Fishing came on after that?
Yeah, I mean, like, or like there's that that river fishing one for a while.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
It's really the dichotomy of the two, like the worlds. But I think it's it's a fantastic thing to be able to really put that human face on these activists, because usually the average person only reads about these activists and then they only get a one-sided, lopsided view of what they're actually doing, not what is really happening and going on. So I'm a huge fan. I would love it if they did the same thing for the people doing the daylight raves. You know?
Oh, like in Italy or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where they're doing the unmasked daylight raves and they're just like, fuck yeah. You know, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Let's do it.
That'd be cool to see.
Yeah. So
that's an idea, guys. I mean, feel free to take it.
Yeah, seriously, we only want enough royalties to buy microphones.
Yeah, just donate to our Kickstarter if you can do that.
If you actually can pull off making that type of documentary, you actually have the microphones, just ship us a couple.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of that, we also we want to do some interviews at May Day this year.
Yeah,
we're going to go take part of the May Day activities here in Salt Lake. I haven't filled out my paperwork, but I'm actually going to become a due-paying member of the IWW finally.
Once I make more money.
With my previous job, I was unable to because I had employees, like 35 people report to me.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough to pay $9 a month right now.
You know, this sounds ridiculous, but it's going to be tight for me because like I had to downgrade my Friends of AK Press membership to just the book. I'm not going to get the ebooks anymore. I know. And then paying for this for the podcast and then adding that on there. It adds up. It's a lot, you know. I even had to downgrade my cable, my satellite.
Oh, no.
I'm not getting, after this month, I'm not getting premium channels anymore. Jesus, fuck.
What are you gonna do?
You know, like, I know how that sounds. So, yeah, I don't have
any... Sounds ridiculous.
I don't have any response to that.
And there's no justified response either. You don't need cable.
Yeah, you're right, I don't. I absolutely do not.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know what I would do without internet.
You know, it's one of those weird things, like, I still make good money. The amount of money I make in my new job is nothing to complain about. It's enough to support my family and do everything we need to above and beyond. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just way different from the level that I was at before. And a job I fucking hated. You know? So, yeah. I don't have anything for that.
Yeah. I honestly, like, when I was in my house in Denver Street, across from the Deseret Soap Factory, I didn't have a TV at all. I don't even think I had a microwave. I was totally like that fucking dumb punk house, you know. No offense to punk houses and people without microwaves and TVs, but...
You know, seriously, lots of offense. Fuck you, Jordan. You know, I'm trying to think back, and if it wasn't for roommates I lived with, I wouldn't have had a TV, but I had the I don't know if you want to call it good fortune or bad fortune of living with an activist for a long time that was very wealthy.
Wealthy from vivisection?
Yeah, wealthy from vivisection money.
That's
one of their parents was a vivisector. That is correct. And they're no longer an activist or vegan anymore, so fuck them. I really just don't give a shit. I'm not going to name names, but fuck them.
You know who it is if you're from
Utah. If you're from Utah and you've been around for a little bit, you know who it is. And fuck them. Not too hard, because they would really like that. Just saying.
That person did host my support website, and I appreciate that. But then they also
took it down because they sold out at the same time.
Their server because they didn't have the same views anymore. Whatever.
Oh God, you gotta love it. You gotta fucking love it.
So I was thinking possibly about asking like X Mission or
but before you say X Mission, that's where it was located at because he worked there.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just feel I don't know.
What?
I would much rather go with like TAO.
Oh,
or,
totally.
Or something like that.
If the Anarchists Online were willing to host us, that'd be sweet. But
our hosting fees would be so fucking minimal. Like if you're adding us onto somebody else already, you know what?
What?
Let's just buy the domain and host it off of Casey.
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah, it wouldn't cost him anything.
No.
We're not like downloading anything. I have his fucking password. I mean, I would still ask him. Of course.
Actually am. Why am I not thinking of this? I think I already am paying a hosting fee.
Are you really?
I think so.
To that same company, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know, but we had to since I was kicked off the one server.
Because
I had to
the kids sold out and you kicked everyone off the server.
Yeah,
I think your own server.
Yeah, I think we got one for Support Jordan. I think it's hosted on ADLs,
which is all through the same company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think ADL. I don't know if ADL is even around anymore. I don't think I renewed their domain because I haven't had. I don't have money to renew a domain for an organization that I'm gonna kick back up in a couple of years when I'm off probation.
Yeah, no, totally.
Maybe.
So, what kind of what do you think about having like a monthly or bi-monthly like little get together to help raise money?
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have a huge turnout. It'd be fucking fun though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how many people do we know that play like Magic?
Plenty.
Enough that would they come and donate $10 to have a party.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Make it a potluck too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'd just be fun. I don't want to say potluck, but maybe make it a bring your own dessert type of a thing.
Bring your own baked goods.
Yeah, something like that.
BYOB.
Bring your own baked goods. We could talk to those girls that do all the chocolate.
Yeah, they actually got offered to be on a podcast for Slug or something.
To actually do their own?
To actually talk as guests.
Yeah.
And they declined because they're nervous about talking.
Really?
Yeah.
We should have them on.
They're too nervous to talk.
Fuck that. Like what? It's just my fucking room. It's just a room.
I know, but we've had rejections in the past for
because same reason.
Same reasons. And I guess it's kind of intimidating. Fuck. But
it took me a long time to be able to hear my voice and not be like, ugh, that's disgusting.
I still hear mine and go, oh, that's disgusting.
I'm constantly, if you listen to this, people know this, I talk way too fast.
When's Mother's Day?
I don't know.
Like in May sometime.
Yeah, sometime.
We should be having Anarchist Black Cross on
that'll be exciting.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
For Mother's Day.
Yeah, for Mother's Day.
I think we're announcing a raffle for vegan prisoners support.
It's awesome, yeah. So what is going on for May Day here?
I'm unsure, to be honest. Like, I am not in the loop about most things because I
totally not at all.
Try to keep my slate clean with probation. Not that May Day's anything.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's really not. I still think it would be awesome to have a huge May Day type event on Labor Day.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, and we've already discussed this, but maybe we should just.
I'm not even talking about like civil disobedience, if that's what you're.
Yeah, no. I think
May
Day. I think Labor Day should be also utilized because fuck it, that's what they give us. Let's take it.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, totally.
As well.
Yeah, I mean, might as well like really try to empower workers, instead of just go camping for the weekend.
Yeah.
Or we could have a fucking anarchist camp out. That'd be fucking fun.
That'd be fun too.
We have enough time to actually organize something like that.
We do.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. I wonder if people would travel for that. Maybe like,
they probably
Colorado or Arizona.
Honestly, you could even go to a place like
I think Wyoming. Go to like the BLM land in Wyoming.
Where
they hold like the rainbow gathering.
I can't really do that.
Oh shit, you can't leave the state.
Yeah.
You could easily go down to southern
You could go like PR Springs.
PR Springs.
Like right there by like Trans Canada, where the tar sands are.
Oh, down in southern Utah?
Yeah.
Honestly,
You could.
we totally could.
You could make it you could show people where the tar sands are, not entering the property, of course.
Of course not.
But just
let's organize that Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Let's
that would
organize a campsite.
And they'll probably hire. They get nervous about it because people don't go camping there. People go hunting there.
Yeah.
And they camp there to hunt. So when a bunch of people that go there that aren't hunting, they always get really
nervous,
suspicious and nervous, and it's hilarious because they'll hire like extra security and fuck them. It costs them money, so I don't.
Yeah, fuck them. We're not doing anything.
We're not doing anything. They're just watching us for nothing.
Yeah,
have fun. So.
Sweet. I really want to organize that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It would be fun, and I know, and I've gone camping there before. It's super fun.
We should do more which side like events like that.
I agree. I think it would be super fun. It would help us get.
Talking to Vic made me want to really get out there and leaflet with which side. Like actually do it as which side. Like, hey, come check us out.
Totally.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to get people out there who haven't done it before or who haven't done it in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really happening here very, very often right now.
No.
So I think it'd be a really good thing to do.
It would be great too. The animal rights scene here dies a lot.
It is huge fluctuation.
And not without cause. Fuck, like look what they did to me.
Well, yeah, think about it. So like when you really think about like the huge ups and downs, it all has to do with huge activist repression when you really think about it. So I mean, we had the Sandy City Fur Co-op being burnt down by the ALF, and that had a huge lull because there was a couple other actions at the same time. McDonald's being burnt down,
and so what happens?
And that's Utah Animal Rights Alliance. That was the big active organization. And
so, just to clarify for people who might be confused, Utah Animal Rights Alliance is an above-ground organization.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, because of that, it kind of dissipated.
So what happens is the authorities will actively
pursue those activists.
Pursue the above-ground activists since they don't know who the underground activists are. And so what will happen is that causes a lot of intense pressure for people who are just out there wanting to help animals.
Sometimes too much pressure.
And it often is too much pressure.
It often is too much pressure.
Because like I spent 10 months for pretty much that purpose. Yeah. There were some ALF actions that happened, and I was co-founded ADL again.
Yeah, so like after that happened, and then the Utah Animal Rights Coalition started up, and that's when I started getting heavily involved.
Yeah.
And we had some huge major wins right off the bat. Like we got a furrier to stop selling fur. We had some huge major wins. We had some wins with local school programs, and that started building up. And then there was again the same thing with activist suppression with the Olympics coming in, and that's when I was arrested. That's when I'm dropping pens. Several other activists were arrested,
and so
mainly because they were afraid of the Olympics, because they knew that we had built up a lot of alliances with other organizations, anti-capitalist organizations, anti-Olympic organizations, and they knew that we were those actors, so they targeted us pretty heavily.
And that was along the lines of that same terrorism shit that they throw out there.
UARC it didn't completely kill UARC, but it did cause a lot of splits and a lot of infighting and people trying to deal with how to deal with. I'm trying to be sensitive to this, but should I really be sensitive about this issue?
I don't know.
Fuck it. How to deal with actual, people, talking and people, helping the authorities, and how to deal with them within the movement and without the movement, and infighting and that. Like, it was a huge deal. And that's, what they tried to do, unfortunately, in a war, and then same thing happened like with you, a couple years later, kind of built back up.
Well, what happened then is, the UARC. David Berg still claims that UARC's around. He does he puts out the vegetarian flyers.
And good on him.
No, it's good. No,
good for him for doing that.
And it's still under UARC's name and through PETA as well. So yeah, UARC still does exist as a PETA
as a single organization, which it used to be a lot of organizations.
Yeah. It used to be
a real coalition.
And that's what was great. And so what happened is then SLAM started up, which is Salt Lake Animal advocacy movement.
Yeah.
And that was kind of on and off as well. It still is more so off right now, I believe. But they
and it got a huge amount of renewed energy with the arrest of BJ and then the arrest of you. Mm-hmm. But as soon as that kind of died down, it kind of just
Well, actually, there were some great things going on in between that small lull, and it was building up pretty quickly. Like we had like great foie gras campaigns that were going on, and we were able to get restaurants to stop selling foie gras
for a while. Yeah,
for a while. Obviously, once
the pressure's off.
Yeah, once the pressure was off, like they all started selling it again. But so one of the lulls, we decided to create ADL, and our thought behind that is we wanted to start that whole disorganized. I guess that would be proper. What would you say? Disassociate.
And like it's exactly. Which is really ironic about the whole thing was back in this day when everything was kind of that same thing happened with UARC. Me and Casey decided to do ADL here also, and we brought the ADL here then, and then almost 10 years later, another cycle is happening, and you decided to bring back ADL with people you're being active with. It's just I find that humorous.
Yeah, Well, ADL is awesome because
ADL is totally awesome.
You have support throughout the entire nation.
Let's bring it back to the poll for a second. I have to say, as a grassroots organization, ADL is definitely my favorite.
ADL was on there. I put ADL.
Did you put ADL on there?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even look. ADL is definitely my favorite as far as like grassroots organizations because it really allows them to be completely independent in what they're doing locally because there is no central organization whatsoever. It's an ideal. And but I've also had great respect and for the huge ADL chapters other places, and that when you need the help of those chapters are always there for you.
Like, for example, a while ago in Washington, I believe almost all of the ADL activists were arrested, and they were going to a certain business.
It was a furrier, right?
I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was day after day after day after day, and they thought this mass arrest would stop it. But everyone from New Jersey,
other ADL chapters started coming in.
Everyone from New Jersey, New York, they all went down to DC and they picked up right where everyone else left off.
Yeah, no,
next day.
It's what I love about it. It gives you that. You have the autonomy of working on what's going to be best in your local issue without having to explain yourself. You're local. You do what you need to locally, and there's no central organization. It's just people fighting for the same cause. I totally love it.
Nuts. And so. That was what it was, but ADL has a very, they don't condemn shit, so.
And they shouldn't. I mean,
shouldn't.
That's why I like them also. Yeah. They're not going to condemn tactics that are done by other organizations, period. So, there's no, caveat to that.
And that's also another reason why they're targeted more often.
That's true. They are to some activists, they do seem a little too militant because of that. Because of their refusal. To give you an idea how bad it was, when me and Casey started the ADL chapter here, there were people in the activist movement telling us and arguing with us, telling us that we were worse for the movement than McDonald's because of our stance on not condemning tactics.
Here it was activists saying, why are you trying to separate and create different organizations?
They did the same thing, too.
Even though the current one wasn't active at the time, and that's not what it was about. It was about
I'm a huge fan of as many organizations as possible,
totally.
Even if they're only one person, because if you have 5 organizations fighting for animal rights in a city, and all 5 do things that get press coverage, even if it's only 5 individuals, to the average news consumer, all they hear is 5 organizations.
Yeah.
They don't see the back end of it. And it just gives you more exposure towards animal rights. And it allows people to focus on what they want to. If somebody really only feels comfortable leafleting, great, leaflet.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't have to. You don't have to share the same name. Because if they don't feel comfortable,
you don't even have to have a name, but
Exactly. You know, if they don't feel comfortable with, you know, protesting outside of a furrier every single day, and they want to distance themselves from that because they would just want to focus on education, that should not be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I would never want to put anyone down or have anyone shy away from what they feel is the best form of activism, even if that's armchair activism, because there's a huge, important role for that, I feel, which is a role that I think I've taken up a little too much personally lately.
And that's one issue I have with certain, like, maybe say the Gary Francione, like, abolitionist, activist kind of approach.
I hate that they stole the term abolitionist. Can I just say that?
Yeah. I hate it too, because a true abolitionist is totally in support of direct action.
Exactly. Like, I totally am an abolitionist, and I love the idea of claiming that term, but...
So are you saying that the slaves, the abolitionists back then, didn't support the Underground Railroad? Like,
well, not even just Underground Railroad. There was so much direct action towards...
True direct action.
True.
Yeah.
Like, true direct action. Because, you know, just like it is today, when there was, you know, when people are viewed as property, just like animals viewed as property, they did whatever the fuck they wanted to them, which means that people would fight back whichever way they could, you know. Unfortunately, we don't have those options with animal rights, you know, because they are viewed as property the same way, and it's just too prevalent. You know, if you go in there and, you know, somebody went in and killed somebody for having a chicken farm, you know, that's not going to be viewed great.
No, it's
but
not at all.
Is it justified? Yeah. I'm not going to say no. That's not what I'm here for.
Would I encourage it? No.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not here, you know, my whole thing is I'm not here to say what someone should or shouldn't do based on their own conscience. And, you know, all I know is what I feel comfortable with.
But I have to say that...
And I don't feel comfortable killing somebody for having a fur farm.
I don't believe
that's just personal.
I don't believe that anyone has ever been killed in the name of animal rights.
No, I don't.
So let's
I don't believe so either. I want to be very clear on that.
Yeah.
I don't believe anyone has been killed in the name of animal rights.
Humans are animals as well.
Yeah, totally. And that's the dichotomy. That's like the issue that a lot of people have. But I'm just saying,
maybe a fucking
scumbag. That shit was happening in slavery, like that type of direct action, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyways, it's an avenue where you can get a lot of trouble if you say the wrong words, which I've done plenty of times.
I don't need any trouble.
I know you don't need any trouble at all. I do have to say, one of my favorite things that I've ever heard about was one of the wives of HLS executives in Europe getting
didn't they tie her to a flagpole or something?
A flagpole or a tree. Yeah. If you guys want more information about it, look it up. I don't really want to go into details about it right now.
One of the most like, some of the tactics are super interesting, and like some people might frown upon them, but like really, when you're digging up someone's grandma is, I know, like, morally that's fucked up, but does it really matter?
You know, at some time, like, one of the things that Will Potter brought up was that there needs to be a real discussion on tactics. This is not that discussion right now. I want that to be very clear. Like, I'm not here to have that discussion on what I think is an appropriate tactic and what's going to give us the best results. Not going there right now. But I've always really loved the tactics that make animal rights activists kind of seem a little crazy. Because those tactics aren't for the general public.
No.
Let's just be, you know, as far as I'm concerned, those tactics are for the perpetrators of these heinous crimes. You know, they're directly targeted, you know, like when, you know, somebody gets their fur farm liberated and, you know, they get the side of their building where it says, we know where you sleep at night. That's targeted to those individuals. That's not targeted for anyone else. And I am a huge fan of that. I like that because they will always remember that for the rest of their lives, and they're going to have to think about what they're doing.
Those are great for that specific reason.
Yes.
Ones that I enjoyed reading about.
And maybe I should also state that just because, like, I like it and it makes you feel good when you read about it or you hear about it, doesn't necessarily mean they're good for the movement as a tactic. And I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say either or. I just want to be clear. I'm not here pushing anything.
I thought the ones where they take a lighthearted approach to things, for example, Santa Claus ran out of coal.
I love those too. This is like my favorite action ever we talked about was
the pirate
ship one. Like, it's fucking awesome. You fucking sort of sunk a guy's boat. If you really read about it, he didn't fully sink.
Yeah.
But, anyways.
And then raised a Jolly Roger.
Exactly.
In their house. That
awesome.
Take some thought.
I love it. I love those things. I always love those things.
One I remember reading about where Santa Claus had ran out of coal, and so he could only find an incendiary device in his bag because they'd been bad.
That was awesome. One of the ones I really enjoyed, I'm pretty sure this wasn't in the United States, where there was a fur farm raid on a mink farm, and they liberated all the mink. It was like around 10,000 mink. They came back. It was either 6 months or a year later, and the farm was active again. Mm-hmm. So it was in a location where the farmer didn't live on the property, close but not on the property. And so they literally dismantled the entire fence around the farm. Not cut holes, dismantled it, laid it flat, and then released them, and then burned down all the yeah. That's like, boom, never reopened again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I heard one where they, 3 days later after releasing them and having a majority of them caught back, they went back and released
them again.
3 days later.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too.
They thought they were, they didn't have to worry about security that soon. But
one of the things talking about fur farm liberations for a second is one of the things that never really, I never really had lots of conversations about with activists, which is a conversation that always happened when with non-activists when it happens, is that a lot of them do get recaptured, and a lot of them do die in the wild. A lot of them do die crossing roads if they're not released in the right areas. And the conversation that was really hard to have was, these animals were bred to die. Like, saving one is a success.
The best thing that
I'm not saying this correctly.
A good way to say it would be, if you knew that you were trapped and you were headed to slaughter or to die, would you rather somebody free you and you have the chance of possibly surviving, or would you
guaranteed chance of death?
Would you rather have a guaranteed chance of death? And so, just if you were to look at it from that aspect, yeah, they a lot of them do die, but
but I do want to say,
guaranteed death if you don't.
If it's done in the right areas, the amount of survival is actually really high. I'm not trying to say that the survival rate's low. I'm just saying there is a recapture rate. This does happen, but there was a study done a while ago that I remember reading that they said that the majority of wild mink today are the descendants of freed mink. They repopulated the dying.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, they repopulated the dying culture, which is awesome. I've actually ran into a mink in the wild once on a riverbed.
I don't think I've ever even seen one.
Yeah, it was. There's like ferrets. It was kind of cool. He was drinking water. I was walking down a path. He looked at me and ran away. That was it. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Hello.
He was pitch black, beautiful. But yeah. I didn't look at him and said, "You'd make a nice coat. I only need 40 more of your friends."
Seriously,
God.
You said.
Okay, no, we started talking about people's favorite animal rights organizations and totally got off on tangent after tangent.
Yeah. Let's bring that back.
If you're gonna pull up like national organizations, my favorite's MFA or LCI. I really like LCI also.
LCI is great too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put ADL on there just because it's funny.
ADL got almost 8%.
Yeah, totally.
Look, most of these are pretty even. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
Most of these are right around the 10% mark.
And it's funny, the ones that aren't are ones that you would expect not to be for the people who would be listening.
I'm actually really surprised how many voted for RSPCA.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's about 5%.
Yeah,
People
about
voted
5%
for that.
voted for the RSPCA.
For the World Society of Protection of Animals, you had a little less than 1%.
One vote, let's just be honest.
Yeah, one vote.
And Animal Aid. I don't even know what Animal Aid is.
And they got.
Do you know? Honestly,
I think it's an English one.
Okay.
I wasn't leaving out the English peeps.
I'm actually surprised that the Humane Society got as low as it got. I thought it would have gotten a little bit more.
Well, you have to realize that
I know they're a welfare organization. I understand that, but they've taken a way more hardcore stance in the last little while.
Yeah, they really have targeting farm animals a lot more aggressively.
Yeah, and I think that they're a vital step for people who can take to get into activism, so it doesn't have to go from 0 to 100 right away. Yeah.
We got let's see, Animal Equality, which is a Spanish organization as well.
I don't know who that one is either.
They're very common in South America, and they got about 7.5%.
So the two highest, which would be a statistical tie, really, one is at 10%, one's just below 10%, is Mercy for Animals, and then She Shepherds.
Yeah. We got, and then Blackfish. And
then Blackfish is right
Animal
there.
Defense League.
ADL is right there.
Coalition.
CAFT is right there.
Yeah.
Which is,
Coalition to Abolish Fur Trade.
Call me completely ignorant. I didn't know if they were still active.
I don't know if they are.
I honestly, I don't know.
I don't know either. I kind of want to say not. I haven't heard a lot from them. I forgot to put a few on there, and I'm surprised that no one else put them on there. Some that I forgot.
We got one other vote, which actually came from me. I'm not going to deny that. I voted and put another one on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that other one?
Band of Mercy.
Fuck yeah.
But, yeah, there's Compassion Over Killing, got about 5. Friends of Animals, got about 7%. Yeah, I think that's about it. Farm got 8, almost 8%, 7.5.
I like Farm. I've always liked Farm a lot.
The Farm's pretty great.
Yeah.
IDA.
We actually had a debate of whether or not to put Vegan Outreach on.
Yeah, I
mean, it was between me and you. It wasn't like
a
lot of people.
I decided not to put vegan outreach organizations and single campaign. Like, I would have put Shack and some other ones on there too. They're some of my favorite campaigns, but they're
too specific.
I think. Yeah. Like, I was trying to. I mean, there was too many as there was.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'll have like favorite. I mean, I guess Sea Shepherd technically, but they also
CAFT, I guess you could be as kind of specific.
Yeah.
Specific. I can't talk right.
And Farm even, but I think they're a little bit like they were more.
They're more national, international organizations.
Exactly.
They're not.
So
yeah.
So I mean.
So we weren't trying to. I only brought that up because we weren't purposely trying to leave things out. There's just so many.
There were so many, and yeah, obviously I wrote this poll, so it's going to be biased, and
yeah,
that's why I left another option. If you wanted to write,
just to kind of put it out there, like he did no RSPCA.
What?
Yeah,
I know. What do you mean?
Like when I was talking to you about it, you're like, did I forget any? And I'm like, well, yeah, you forgot the RSPCA. Like, I don't remember the RSPCA. So
yeah, there's a few that I'd forgotten, and
one thing about the RSPCA is I don't think they get the due credit from a lot of people for really being in the forefront of animal
the first
rights.
that did like the anti-vivisection.
I think they were
in England.
I think they were the first actual animal rights organization.
Oh yeah.
I could be wrong on that.
I think you're right.
Certain,
and that's out of England, right?
Yeah.
Or United Kingdom. I don't know where they're located.
The land of the king. Well, not right now, but.
So I found, fucking sidetrack for a second. Do you know the difference between the UK, Britain, and England and all that shit?
No, I absolutely am completely ignorant on this fact.
So, UK is an area that incorporates, I think, Northern Ireland,
okay.
Scotland, England, and Wales, or something like that.
Whatever happened to the IRA? And then the fucking Basques? Like, come on, people. I don't know if you heard about the Basques lately. Like, they kind of backed down.
I just know Brent.
Yeah, Brent's a hard... Like, he's not as hardcore as his dad. His dad's like one of those hardcore Basque revolutionaries. Yeah.
That's Northern Ireland, by the way, not...
Basque is Spain, by the way.
Yeah, no. I'm saying... But, so
just for the...
Yeah.
The 5 people that are like, what the fuck is Basque?
So, and then Britain is the island.
Okay.
And so that includes Scotland and England.
Okay.
And then England is just the lower part of the
island. That's interesting.
So that's the British Isles over there.
Okay.
I just learned this.
I never knew it, honestly. Yeah. I never knew it.
I just learned this, and it was interesting to me. So
that is interesting.
I thought I'd share it.
That is pretty interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Educational.
Yay. Oh, man. That's funny. Yeah, but seriously, like, I've always had a deep amount of admiration of organization of the IRA. I've always liked how the organizational structure was.
Not Boondock Saints.
Not talking about... Well, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about, like, necessarily what they were fighting for. I mean, that's not what... I don't want to get into that discussion right now, but I really like how they were organized in fighting. Which is a lot very similar to how a lot of underground organizations are organized now today. I think they're one of the forefronts on decentralized organization.
I think it's always an important thing.
Yeah.
I think when you're decentralized and you don't have a hierarchy, I think you can get more shit done.
And you can only take down localized cells. You can't take down the entire organization. You know?
Because they take down legal above-ground organizations all the time.
Yep. You know, speaking of that, I just barely finished reading a Colin Ward book, a very short introduction to anarchism, part of the short introduction series.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good.
I want to read those. I think they're expensive, aren't they?
Sure.
So, I know that you have the anarchism one. I'd like to...
I have them all on ebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see at least the anarchism one.
I actually have the anarchism one also on audiobook. I listen to it at work.
That's what I need. I need the audiobook.
Unabridged.
I just need to finish Harry Potter 7 right now.
No, but it was really good. Like, I didn't really learn a lot by it. Like, it wasn't like an education for me on so much on anarchism. But I think it talked about anarchism in a way that if you didn't know anything, you would actually understand it at that point. It doesn't go into like deep discussions on the different types. It basically says, here's how anarchism kind of got to where it is today. Here's the different sects of anarchism. Here's kind of what each sect kind of believes. Here's modern anarchism today.
And so that's an interesting thing a lot of people don't realize about anarchism as well, is that there is no central belief in anarchism either.
Totally not. It's like one of the things that I don't know much about Colin Ward. I know he's an anarchist, but I don't know much about him personally. But I got the feeling that he's a deep ecologist, and nothing against deep ecology, but I think he focused more on deep ecology in the book than I think any other aspect of anarchism, and it was pretty up to date. We're talking early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s. Okay. I mean, not so it included a lot of anarchists.
Probably that date. So no WTO.
Yeah, it included the WTO in '99 in Seattle and in Prague. He covered the anarchists being killed in Prague.
What about, but not Greece then? Because
no, it didn't increase Greece
too.
So yeah.
I like their flag.
But it wasn't like a trying to be like an anthology of history or anything.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is, a very short introduction. Boom, here you go.
And that's, so they probably, most things that I notice with a lot of anarchist books is they tend to dwell on history.
They talked more about the modern school than I had known about. I'd known about it before, but he talked about why they didn't continue with the modern school, which had to do with health code regulations and building code regulations because they were squatting for the schools. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I highly recommend it to people. Like, if you need or want, it's an easy listen. I'll put it that way. But it would be an easy read.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I need to definitely check it out too.
Yeah, totally.
I wanted to say that the flag that they created for anarcho-syndicalism in Greece, I like that.
I don't even know it. I don't know what that is.
It's black and red instead of being diagonal.
Yeah. On the top and bottom?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
I like the style of it. I don't know. There's something about the slash, though, the slant, that just everyone's so familiar with. But that's another funny thing. There's no fucking set flag in anarchism.
Fuck no, there's not.
There's nothing set in anarchism.
No.
You can do whatever you want.
But we don't know much about anarchism.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No. And that's funny.
I thought that was kind of hilarious, too.
We don't.
I'll be honest, I don't. I mean, I'm not an expert on fucking anything.
No.
I'm not, here to debate the fine points of how an anarchist society is going to work. I have no fucking idea.
And I've read some books, and as have you, but you've probably read more anarchist philosophy than I have. I grew up with, like, say, the crime think kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then expanded from that.
See, I can't read crime think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not my thing.
And we've talked about it before. It's very romanticized, and
yes.
And I think that,
which has its place. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, if it was great for me. It got me into thinking.
I think it's great for people going into a mode that's I don't fit in
radical
society, and it gives them someplace to fit.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm completely off base. Like, I'm not. I don't.
No, I would agree. I think it helps define and explain radical culture a lot easier. Because
listen to Crass just doesn't quite get you there.
And, like, say if you pick up a book by, I mean, not that he's an anarchist, but Noam Chomsky.
He's a fucking anarchist.
I know. Not according to him.
Yeah, he just doesn't come out and call himself an anarchist.
And so, if you read a book by, like, Noam Chomsky, it's going to be super dry. And you give that to a 13-year-old kid, and they're like, nah, fuck this shit. You give them something that's like...
I was serious when I said before, I can only take Chomsky and pamphlet serious. Like, I'm a huge fan of Chomsky's, a lot of his writing. But, fuck. Have you ever listened to an interview with Chomsky?
He's funny.
God, it's fucking dry as shit, though, right? Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
He's so serious about shit, too. Like, I would love to have him on because I'd want to, like, be less serious.
I would be so fucking intimidated, I wouldn't even know what to say.
I'd be like,
Like, I don't think I'm intelligent enough to have an intelligent conversation with someone of his caliber.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same as having, like Ward Churchill or someone like that on, which I'd fucking love. I would love to have a discussion with Ward Churchill on his ideas on pacifism. Like, he shaped my ideals on pacifism probably more than anyone else. I know we should make sure it's still recording.
One of the interesting things about Ward Churchill that I really I thought was a super interesting concept. I don't remember what book it was in or anything else. Like I said, I'm not well read, and I've read excerpts of things. Like, yeah. I've never read his...
I wouldn't call myself well read. I'm not even putting myself there.
But I believe it was Ward Churchill said something about if you technically were to destroy infrastructure, say like water towers or satellite towers or like radio, that kind of stuff, that's technically an act of war. And so at that point, you would be an enemy of the state.
You could be considered,
once they arrest you, and once you declare defeat, then they should technically let you go.
Well, and this is another thing that I've heard lawyers argue about. Not that it would ever happen, but I've heard lawyers argue that Abraham Lincoln made revolution not punishable by death, because after the Civil War, he pretty much pardoned all of the soldiers, not the leaders. I'm not saying that, but the Union soldiers. He pretty much pardoned them all and said, we got to move forward as a country. And because of that act, it set a precedence that technically revolution should be legal.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm not here to say, one way or the other. I think it's interesting. I thought it was a bunch of horse shit when Ward Churchill lost his tenure.
Yeah, that was way fucking stupid.
I had family living in Colorado at the time, and they called me asking about it. Like, hey, do you know about this? I'm like, yeah, I fucking know about it, you know? And they're like, oh, fuck him. I'm like, no. Like, it got into huge arguments over it, you know?
I think that they were looking for a reason to get rid of him.
But
they've been looking for so long.
If anyone needs to have a discussion on peace, activism, and pacifism, I think it's a required reading to read his book, Pacifist Pathology. I mean, it opened my eyes so much to the privileged culture that I live in, where I can choose pacifism, and you know, I shouldn't say that that's the correct step for people who can't make those decisions because of my privilege. You know, it really opened my eyes. Maybe I took everything totally wrong. I don't know, but yeah, totally read it. I think it's awesome. I've always been a huge fan of the Anarchist Archives, hosted by Brown University. I think it's Brown. I don't know.
I think so.
Google it, Anarchist Archives.
Yeah, that's something you showed me. I wasn't too familiar with it.
Yeah, there's so much there. I get so intimidated, but I love going there and reading the old pamphlets and just like looking at the old artwork on the old pamphlets that they have there. It's the biggest archive that I know of old anarchist literature, all put together, mostly PDF form or ebook form. So
one thing I found interesting was like a lot of old anarchist things. Like I think we found like a photo of Emma Goldman, and it was copyrighted.
Yeah,
and that was interesting. And then I guess apparently like
there was a photo of her with Alexandra Berkman that was copyrighted.
And I think a lot of it was they appreciated copyrights in a different way that we do.
I think that they appreciated the right of the creator.
Exactly.
Of the use of the labor that created.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically the idea that I've always understood of what syndicalism is all about.
And it's interesting to see that though.
It is.
So that was something I just randomly thought about.
You know, one thing that I want to study more on is the First International. I know about the First International. I know little bits here and there about the First International.
I don't know much about it at all.
You know what it is?
Not really. I've actually heard the term.
You've heard of it, right?
Yeah, I just don't know.
The First International was, again, I don't know much about it either. I'm not trying to say, but it was like the first major gathering of anarchist thought. It wasn't just anarchists. I shouldn't say that. There was a lot there. Marx was there. Engels was there.
Okay.
It was just that whole, mainly, I would say, taking social revolution. It was trying to organize people on an international level. And I don't know much about it, but I heard, I just kind of know it existed, it happened. But I heard recently that Bakunin, however you pronounce his name, Bakunin, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I'm not Russian, got into a huge yelling match with Marx. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know.
That would be interesting. I always found it funny that Marx got the ism on the end of his name when it was totally a collaboration between multiple people.
Not only that, but I mean, like
Engels was a main contributor too.
Engels was a main contributor and the money man.
Yeah,
like he's the one who supported Marx.
Yeah,
and most people didn't like Marx. Like he would go places and present these ideas. They didn't like him. They liked how Engels put this spin on it and represented it. That's interesting.
I was always surprised it wasn't Engelsism.
It just sounds funny.
It does.
But what's really funny is unless you get people who actually know just a teeny bit about it, most people don't know who Engels is. If you talk about Engels, they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, you know.
I learned it in a college.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some form of... But the average person isn't going to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I'm saying, like, I didn't even know until I was in college. And that was when for some reason, I decided to take a political ideology class as one of my first classes in college.
I always got in trouble in those classes.
Yeah, and then when everyone was introducing themselves and their political beliefs, everyone's like, Republican, Democrat, Republican.
Yeah.
And then I went and said, I guess I identify more like anarcho-syndicalist, green tendencies, I'm vegan. And so he's like, well, let's stop the class for a second and discuss what he just said right there.
Let's talk about this.
I'm just like, oh, shit. I shouldn't have said anything.
You know, I not that big of experience, but I was waiting at my very first day of it was world political ideologies. I can't remember. And I was waiting for the class to start, and I was actually reading a Noam Chomsky pamphlet. And a guy walks behind me. I'm sitting on the back row of the class. The guy walks behind me. He goes, "Oh, Noam Chomsky, huh?" And I close it. I look up. It's the professor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "This is gonna be an interesting class." And walks in front. I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Like,
my professor, apparently he's actually
he's a hardcore communist, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like he'd always say, well, you know, I totally agree with your opinion, but I grew up and I know better now.
You know, I've always loved that because
that.
you know it's a very similar argument that I feel that Marx and Bakunin always had with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Marx always just called Bakunin I feel like I'm pronouncing that completely wrong. Bakunin? Is it Bakunin? Bakunin? I don't know. I have no idea. So whatever. Correct.
You know who it is.
Correct me, please. I know exactly. Marx would always just call him an idealist, and he was always like, "Yeah, totally. I am an idealist."
That was actually a paper the final term paper that I wrote. I had to create an ideology of my own was the assignment for that, and so I did some cross. Like I think I did anarcho-tribal communalism or something like that.
Okay.
You know, just some concept. And he said that I was being too idealistic. I'm just like, this is a political ideology.
The whole
class.
point, like, this is the thing that I've always loved about it. I would agree. I believe anarchism, the way I understand it as the term, is an idealistic way of living, an idealistic way of looking at life and how to organize. That being said, I want to strive for the ideal. Now, whether or not we can achieve that, that's not for me to say. But I want to get as fucking close as I can to that. And that's what I want to fight for.
Yeah.
So
I think, you know, I don't know if I will see a completely ideal society. I doubt I ever will. But I want to get as close to it as
exactly.
I can.
So
yeah.
you can call me an idealist. Yes, I would gladly take that term.
I would gladly take an improvement. I would gladly take true socialism over what we have now. I would say that was an improvement. Some would disagree.
It depends on how it's being organized.
I said true socialism.
God,
I don't know. I'd still.
You're making me like.
I'd still want to improve upon that.
You know, like in some aspects,
it.
I want to agree with you, and others I don't. I believe in socialism as far as a society organizing together for the society, taking the state out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think. It's just
I wouldn't want state-run socialism.
Yeah, so like it's just I don't even think people understand.
We already got that with Obamacare. But
God, I fucking can't stand when people talk about like Obamacare socialism. Like I would love Obamacare to be actual socialism. But they don't talk about other
Social
things.
Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the shit that you're using.
The interstate. I mean, public schools. You know, those are
Social Security.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
Fucking title. Yeah, I'm totally for all that. What I was really interested in that I was just reading a little bit about was a community. It was a mining company where the miners got together and decided to create their own medical fund. Right. Yeah. So they all donated together, paid a doctor, mm-hmm. built a hospital, paid for a little doctor, and everyone in the mine could go to this doctor for free. They're all paying for it. Right?
Oh, sweet.
Socialism, that's community organizing together. And then after it was running so well, they decided to open it up to everyone in that community.
Wow.
And give free medical care to everyone. Like those are fucking amazing things. That's the way shit should be really working.
And see, in that aspect of socialism is great.
You know, and like that's what I'm talking about, like making the world a more ideal place. You could always argue, well, that's not anarchism. There's fucking state-sanctioned money and blah blah blah. And I get all that.
Yeah,
but I think that step is better than where we're currently at.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I was saying. I would say any improvement would be accepted by me. Like, yeah. I would like any improvement, and to me, I would think that socialism would be an improvement if it's not state run. And
even if even if Medicare, like even if there's state run healthcare, I think that's better than the system we have now. At least people would be getting taken care of. I mean, honestly,
But then the service wouldn't be as good, Jeremy.
I know. I don't even want to. I'm not even going to play on that road. But yeah, and I'm one of those people that right now I don't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to be able to have insurance.
I'm not going to soon unless I find another job.
I make too much money to get state insurance, but I don't qualify for benefits yet at my current employer.
So, okay. One thing, I know a lot of anarchist houses and a lot of anarchist collectives and people within them and stuff like that.
Okay?
Yeah. But a lot of them actually use like welfare and state money and stuff like that. What do you think about that?
Oh, God.
Okay, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I want to say I'm 100% for society helping society.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But I am not for spoiled white fucking rich kids that are trying to prove they can live away from their mommy and daddy and off their tit for a little while and using that as a means of doing that when that's taking away money from people who weren't coming from a privileged society. Does that kind of make sense? Like, it really annoys me. Like, if you're going to throw away your privilege by, whatever means that you have, coming from a middle-class family, being white, being male, whatever those privileges might be, right? If you're going to throw those away and try to live in an unprivileged way, you don't take away from other people that never had those privileges.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I'm not saying, like, I totally agree with you saying I don't want to be part of that system and rejecting those privileges. 100%, I'm 100% behind you. I don't know how you can really reject some of those privileges, like being a white male. I can't really reject that, but it just is what it is.
You can.
But you can actively
not identify that way.
Yeah, but you can actively, I'm not going to go to college because it's easier for me to get in. Ha ha ha. Or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you want to do, but don't take away money from a starving family that has a single mother because the father was put into prison because he was forced to work selling drugs on the street when his same thing happened to him and they needed to raise money to raise his two siblings, whatever the situation may be. You can think of a million different situations. I just think that you're taking away resources from those people and giving the entire system a bad name for people that don't understand that people really need that assistance.
For me,
that being said, I believe there's plenty of activists that fall into that category do need that assistance, and they should get that assistance. But it always has annoyed me when I know the backstory of some people,
or the fact that they will take the time to travel to another state to get assistance from that state.
Yep.
And they have the opportunity and the expense to travel to another state to get the funding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get the idea of, fuck the state, I'm going to take their money, but that is, I totally get that, and I totally get, like, you could argue it in so many different ways of, like, well, if they didn't fund, the industrial prison complex, or if they didn't have the militarization the way that they do, we'd have enough money to do it. I get all that. I'm not arguing that. But I'm just saying the current funding that is there right now, you're taking away from other people. So if you were getting funding, they only have a set amount. So if you're taking some of that, do you actually need that?
One thing that annoyed me a lot is I would hear...
That's why I loved Moved, though, where Moved, they didn't take that state assistance. They're like, fuck you, planted their own gardens, and then fed their fucking neighborhoods.
I met some people in prison that actually were in some cells with some Move activists. That's really weird.
That's actual Africa, like...
What? Yeah, the Africa family.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so...
Blow my mind.
Yeah, like, that's what I was like. They're like... They just brought it up to me, like, casually.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, you ever heard, like, the Africas? And I'm like, you mean the Move activists? Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you know about them? I was in a cell with them back... I'm here for life. It's like, 20 years ago, I was hanging out. It's like,
I met one guy who bought weed from him.
Yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
That's funny.
Yeah.
These guys are awesome.
I should say allegedly. I don't know if this guy is on the legit. I have no idea.
he also stole a bunch of drugs from pharmacies.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, move activists are totally sweet. You should totally, if you don't know anything about them, look them
Totally.
up. Look them up, write them.
Oh God,
Please write
you
them.
know, I've never written them. Now I feel like a shit that you even mentioned. I've never even thought about it.
I'm not allowed.
Yeah, you can't. Don't.
Mm-hmm. I want to write so many people now after going through prison. It's like, I understand.
You know, and I'm always that asshole that's like, I don't know what to write. I hate it.
It doesn't matter.
I know this.
Uh-huh.
You know, you can attest to this. How many letters did you get from me when you were in prison?
From you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
None.
None?
No, you didn't get one.
I didn't get a single one.
Not a single fucking letter.
What a dick.
You got emails. I emailed you.
Yeah.
But you didn't get any actual letters.
That was a nice federal privilege.
Yeah. If you didn't get emails, I would have. And it was really hard for me. I really tried hard to email you.
What is it, 15 cents a minute for
like
an email?
I tried really hard, and I don't know. I probably only wrote maybe 12 to 15. That'd be about right.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah. A lot of them were like the screenplay of Rent. Just so.
Yeah. Okay, because they have to read them, right?
And my account was flagged too.
And there was a character limit that you could set on the email, so I made sure to hit that fucking character limit every time.
I doubt they read yours.
And so, I did the screenplay to Rent in 3 or 4 emails. I sent him an article on recidivism rates of federal prison and how they're doing a bang-up job of reforming prisoners. I sent weird ass shit.
So out of the 12 times that he wrote me, that's the shit he wrote. But that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it was also 2 paragraphs.
No,
what's up, dude? But
no offense, I didn't read.
I didn't expect you to. It wasn't for you. And every single time at the very end, if you would go to the very end of it, I always wrote, "Have a nice day, officer."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't most of the time.
No, fuck no, I didn't totally.
It cost me 15 cents a minute to be on that stupid machine, and then I'm getting.
They don't know if you're getting coded messages inside the script of Rent.
And my account was flagged too, and so it would take me longer to get. It would take people a couple hours to get theirs, and for me it would take a couple days.
Yeah, every time I wrote you, I would look up random things on Wikipedia and paste them in. I couldn't think of something. Yeah. I think I sent you some stuff on aeronautics once.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And see, but that's the thing. I got letters from people that sometimes they just said, "Hey, I don't know what to write, but I just wanted to send my support." And I would write back. I wrote back to every single person. Not all prisoners have that opportunity. Some people get more letters than others, and some people.
And please know, it's super expensive for these.
Oh yeah, no. Back. I would jeopardize food for stamps. The way you could buy stamps on the
they had a black market of stamps.
Yeah, you get you could get stamps for super cheap, and so I mean not super cheap, but still I could get a book of stamps for maybe $7, and I don't know how much it is now, but you could get it down to $6.50 and stuff if they weren't all on one sheet, if they were just squares. And they have a going rate of about it's $1 or something for I think 3 go for $1 in actual cash money. Yeah. So if you wanted, you could pay them $1 of commissary or 3 stamps, even though they're 45 or what are they 40 something
47 49.
So I mean the rate is super low, but when you're actually buying stamps, it's you can get them cheaper. So I mean you can turn a profit, but you have to go to prison.
Some capitalists would not see that as a negative.
No, they wouldn't. Yeah, I'll go to prison for a while.
Yeah, I go in there for a while.
Give me $1,000 and I'll send you stamps home every month. And then convert those back.
That's totally true, unfortunately. But yeah, no, totally. That's one thing we should do. Let's organize a letter writing thing too.
But I can't really do that kind of stuff right now.
Shit, you can't.
And so, I mean, as soon as I'm off probation, I'm more free. There's so many people in prison that I told them that I met friends there, so
yeah.
I want to actually catch up with them, see how they're doing, and so I can't do that right now. I can't associate with felons. I can't.
Well, you can't do that, and don't associate with any felons. So Labor Day weekend, we're planning something. Don't know where yet,
No,
but we know when. So if you're in the Utah, Colorado, Nevada, area, Wyoming area, Arizona, in that area, let's get together and shoot us an email. We'll put something together.
and check out I think so. Like I said, ABC is doing a vegan prisoner support. ABC Salt Lake, and so check that out. I think they're doing like a raffle. They're going to announce your raffle on Mother's Day on our podcast, just as a way to have a central location that everyone can hear.
What we should do is see if we can get one or two actual, real anarchist
Wobblies
worker activists and do like an open forum on the Labor Day weekend. Like just have like one night where it's just like an open discussion type of forum.
camping.
Yeah, while we're camping.
That'd be fun.
Actually make it, kind of why we're really there, not just, hey, let's fuck around.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, let's do this.
I know. Yeah, I have a ton of ideas for it. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, send us an email.
Sweet.
Yeah. But we've been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck a dude's dick.